Okay, and now we're going to react to a video which I suppose is going to say that renting is an acceptable, possible alternative to home ownership. What I think they will say, I think they will hit the points that most people say that buying a house is always the right thing to do, no matter what, which is of course untrue. Taxes cost money. Repairs cost money, making the argument that perhaps buying a house is more than some people will think. Buying and selling the house costs money. The markets might go up or down, so you are not guaranteed to make money when you sell your house. Borrowing the money, the interest that you pay, the cost it takes to have the loan costs money. It ties you down to one place. And once you buy a house, if you sell it within 5 years, you're going to lose money. Actually, I think that's what they won't say. So let's remember that. Ties you down to a place is what they won't say. Short-term houses cost money, anything less than 5 years. And it's not liquid. The money that you save by paying off your house, you can't get that money. It's not the same as putting money into your retirement account. What I think they won't say is that the second a young single person buys a house, they are paying for space they don't need. The necessity for a young single person is a room in a shared place, which costs very, very little. Roommates are a great savings. So as soon as one single young person buys a house, they are paying for multiple square footage, which they don't actually need, and that's a cost. So I don't think they're going to go into that. And they probably won't go into, let's put it down, upkeep is time, and time is money. So they always say the cost of doing a house, but no one ever really says the time it takes to upkeep a house, and that time could be spent doing other things. So let's react to the video. Here we go.
Philip, brace yourself. I'm about to say something controversial.
What is it? Earth is flat? Tomatoes aren't really a fruit? The Star Wars prequels were better than the originals?
They were not.
Renting isn't always a bad financial decision.
Say what? But isn't renting just throwing money away?
All
When you
the
buy a
time.
home, your monthly payments are going towards something you will eventually own.
Yes, but
So
not
much more
for
to
a long time. Thanks to amortization, the first 5 to 10 years of mortgage payments are mostly interest.
But the home is appreciating, right? So even if you're not paying down the principal, you're still making money, right?
True, but not that much more than inflation.
That is absolutely true. It is a gamble whether your house goes up in value or down in value. Okay? And when it does go up in value, the average up in value isn't all that much. The stock market up in value, where you could put your money into a retirement account, has averaged 7 to 8%, but the average house increase, if we look at that, from what they say, is 4%. Well, the stock market is 8%. Average inflation rate, this is a little different. Obviously, the 70s really messed this inflation rate up. If you're going to go from the 2000s on, the average inflation rate's only about 2%. But their point is taken, that your house value goes up, but it's really only pacing inflation.
Home ownership might work out for some, but can become a financial burden for others.
So when is renting a good financial decision? And is renting viable as a long-term strategy?
Let's see if you can get the right answer. Two people who do a really good show. Do.
This is Kira.
Hi,
She
Kira.
just landed a job in a new city and has already
Yay.
started shopping for places to live. She's trying to decide if she should take the money she's saved up and put it towards a house or invest it in index funds.
Okay, well, first off, congratulations, Kira, for getting a job. Congratulations for saving $20,000. That's really good. But Kira is young. Kira is in the start of her career. Kira doesn't know if she is going to live in that house for 5 years. It takes at least 5 years to be in a house where it's worth it. So she is upwardly mobile. She could go to any city. So that's a strike. Number two, this index fund, that means retirement account. Kira's not funding a retirement account, and my personal opinion, retirement account before house.
While she rents.
A great way to find out whether you should rent or buy is to look at the price to rent ratio. Find two similar houses, apartments, or condos in your area, one for sale and one for rent.
Yes.
Divide the sale price of one by the annual rental cost of the other. Experts say if the PR ratio is over 15, it's probably less expensive to rent. For example, the PR ratio of the city of Cincinnati is about 8.3, according to the US Census Bureau. In our hometown of Austin, it's 22.9, and in San Francisco, it's 50.1.
Okay, that's new. I'll be back when I figure this one out. Excellent. So that's why I watch these videos. That is definitely a thing, PR ratio. I would rather run my own personal numbers, but I definitely ran some numbers, and that 15 ratio is somewhere around there. I think it should be done individually, but I'm going to go with it. They are looking at the cost to buy versus the cost to rent. The idea being, if you rent really cheaply, you can put your money into your retirement account, and if the rent is high, it's better to actually buy. So that's a real thing. Excellent. Love learning stuff.
Put another way, a $600,000 home in San Francisco would rent for only $1,000 a month. There are even free rent versus buy calculators online that will help you do the math with your own specifics.
After shopping around, Kira finds an area that she's happy with. The average home price is $270,000, and the average rent is $1,100 a month.
So right there, I can tell you one thing. You're going to rent. Okay, I don't know what they're going to say, but you're going to rent, and if it's a property tax state with property taxes, you're going to rent and put the rest in. She's young, she's mobile, she doesn't want to be tied down. You don't know a 270 is up there for a house that could tank. It could go up, but that's a gamble. She's going to rent. Let's see what they say.
That means her area's PR ratio is 20.5, and she'll get more bang for her buck by renting.
Yep.
She also doesn't know if she wants to live in this city long term, making renting
so
an even more attractive option.
Yep.
She decides against buying a home and will invest the money she saved for a down payment in an index fund instead.
In her retirement account, which is tax deferred or tax free. Now, the one thing they don't mention is you have got to be able to save. And if you can't save money, I can't help you. Good luck. I wish you well. But that's the reason you rent, to put the extra money into a retirement account. Set a budget.
When it comes to
Perfect.
affording a place to live, millennials have an uphill battle. Baby boomers spent an average of 36% of their income on rent. Gen X spent 41%. And millennials now pay over 45% of their pre-tax income on housing costs alone. This makes it especially hard to invest, save, and give to charity.
Okay, just to let you know really quickly why you pay me the big bucks. Did you hear that when they said give to charity?
This makes it especially hard to invest, save, and give to charity.
So the people who say give to charity in their economics talking are a fan of Dave Ramsey. You can look him up, Total Money Makeover. So we know right there, that is a big tell that these two people, well, they do know their stuff, and they are from the Dave Ramsey School of Economics. That's why you pay me the big bucks, to recognize those sort of things. Moving on.
Experts suggest keeping your total housing costs below 30% of your income.
Absolutely
Kira's
true.
new salary is $58,000 a year. That would mean her maximum fixed housing expense should ideally fall below $1,450.
Budgeting.
Since utilities are usually 20% of housing expense, this would equate to $1,160 a month in rent and $290 for utilities.
Is it? Sec. Yep, if you include your telephone and internet, it is going to be around $290 for utilities and garbage and water and electric and heat. Okay, they're right.
She has a budget to start shopping for a new place.
Kira's new job is downtown, but rents in that area are pretty high. Further out of town, costs are lower, but then there's the commute.
Doesn't
One
matter.
study found that every mile she has to drive to work costs $795 a year through depreciation, gas, maintenance, and lost wages. For
Pause.
Kira,
Okay, we're back. This is the every mile you commute to work costs you $800 a year, this is, I'm sorry, people that I like watching your videos. I commute 20 miles to work. So what you're saying is I'm losing $16,000 a year by commuting. Okay, here's how they did it. And the study is bullcrap. And I'm sorry. They said lost wages. This is the time is money idea. This is under the fact that, oh, it takes a certain amount of time. Well, you can obviously use that time to make more money. That's a problem because she's got an $80,000 a year job. She can't just go and work an extra 20 minutes every day and make that $100 an hour rate. You can't do that. Time is money only for the job you can get for that time. So you have to say, if she has an extra 10 hours a week, well, what can she get as a job? Probably a minimum wage job, or at best a $15 to $20 an hour job, okay? And that takes into account that she actually would go and get a second and third job, all right? And many people would not use their extra time saved to get a job, and even if they would, it would be at a minimum wage. So do not in a second think that if you're commuting 1 mile to work, you're losing $800 a year. That is 100% untrue. The numbers that we use is 55 cents per mile. So if you are working 50 weeks a year times 5 days a week, that's 250 days. And if you're driving a mile on your commute, that's 250 miles, times 55 cents is depreciation of your car and your gas. That's $137 a year per mile that you're putting on your car and your gas. Do not add your quote-unquote lost wages. That's just not true.
For Kira, 10-mile commute might cost her $8,000 a year.
That is not true.
She makes a mental note to add public transit and carpool meetups to her list of search criteria.
One often overlooked resource for renters in a new city is to work with a licensed realtor. That's right, they're not just for home buyers. A good realtor will know the best areas to begin your search. They might know about better deals that aren't widely advertised, and best of all, their commission is paid by the property owner, not you. Kira would be smart to engage with one to help narrow her search.
True. The general rule of thumb is use a realtor to buy or rent. Don't use a realtor to sell or when you're a landlord. Okay? The buying and renting side of the realtor is free for you. When you sell and when you are renting to someone else, that's when it costs money.
Kira's starting to get
Hey, consider a roommate. Oh, I didn't think they would do that. Look, roommates are great savings. Good for them.
frustrated because none of the areas of town she likes fall within her budget. She's momentarily tempted to throw her budget out the window when a thought occurs to her. Maybe she can keep her housing costs in line and live in a great area if she will consider living with a roommate.
Because she is young, she is unpartnered, she doesn't need the space. Roommates are how you fund your retirement account.
30% of working-age adults live in a so-called doubled-up household. She could rent out a spare room to offset the higher costs.
And if she wants to cut costs even more, she might look at home share networks. For example, Senior Home Share or Golden Girls Network pair younger renters with aging homeowners. Rent is highly reduced in exchange for help around the house or rides to a doctor's appointment.
Not gonna lie, Golden Girls was a great TV show.
Another common pitfall renters face is failing to closely read their lease terms.
True.
A lease is a
Absolutely.
legally enforceable document, and it's your job to arm yourself with the knowledge of exactly what it says. For example, if you move out early and don't abide by the lease-breaking rules perfectly, you could be liable for the rent of the entirety of the lease. And if you plan to sublet or rent out the apartment, terms will be covered here too.
You are liable for the rest of the lease. The landlord has a responsibility to rent out that, and you are responsible only until the landlord has secured another tenant. But
Some people are surprised to find out that damage of their belongings is not generally covered by their property owner, but renter's insurance is designed to protect against just that.
Okay, we are, I think they're forgetting what exactly the video is about. It's about home ownership versus renting. So let me tell you, yes, renter's insurance, you have to have it, but it is so much less expensive than homeowner's insurance. I think we've got a little off track on this video. So if you're adding up the costs of renting, the renter's insurance is pennies compared to if you own a home, how much homeowner's insurance is.
In the event of water damage, fire, smoke, or even theft, she can rest easy knowing her belongings are safe. The best part, renter's insurance is quite cheap.
Good.
The price
Yep,
of
you're
her
right.
pizza, Kira can know that her possessions will be fine, even if her building is not.
Kira is relieved to have found a place at last, and because she has that index fund, she knows she'll keep pace with her homeowner friends.
Renting may be the right choice for Kira, but it's not for everyone. If you're not strategic about it, it can feel like throwing money away.
But if you're careful, keep housing costs low, and invest the money you save, it can be a viable long-term alternative to owning.
And that's our 2 cents.
What's the PR ratio in your neighborhood? Calculate it and share it with us in the comments.
In my area, with a roommate, the PR ratio is 19. It is more better for a young person to roommate up and rent and save their money in their retirement account than it is to buy a quote-unquote starter home for in the ages of the 20s if you're willing to take a roommate. Not a bad video. Thanks for watching.